Hey everybody, welcome on back. It's the Rubbin is Racing podcast. It's with Spider and Large. I'm still mad about that. When we set this up, John Hunter, the way this was set up, it was Rubbin is Racing with Large and Spider. Then all of a sudden it goes to the final. I don't know why, because they did out in Chicago. He switched it on me.
That's fake.
That's
fucking
so Spider
that's a
Large.
fake news report.
It's not a fake news report. You fucked me when you switched it to Spider and Large. You grabbed top billing.
I had nothing to do with the logo creation. I'm happy to have this logo. I thought it was great, and it just so happened that my name was first billed.
And then when we were on the truck, we were on a truck with Jack Wood. They did like a full Rubbin is Racing thing. I was final say on that, so the truck was conveniently Large and Spider.
Awesome.
All right, so we have John Hunter Nemechek in the building today. He's going to sit in with us for the whole podcast, which is the first time that we're having a driver come in and do a full podcast with us, so we appreciate you carving out some time.
Of course.
Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody, this episode is brought to you by BODYARMOR FLASH I.V. Flash I.V. delivers faster, longer-lasting hydration with over 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes and no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners like those other drinks. So whether you're training, traveling, or just feeling the heat, work hard. Hydrate hard with BODYARMOR Flash IV and grab yours today at your local 7-Eleven convenience store. And we're also sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, enter the room dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave you downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. This ain't a supplement, it's an erection resurrection. Guys, this isn't just about performance, it's about legacy or third legacy. See what I did there? Give her group chat something to talk about. You know, when you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew for free. Just use promo code Rubbin at checkout, pay $5 for shipping, and that's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info, and big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. I forgot that legacy is mentioned inside that thing. It seems extremely apropos.
Yep.
But we appreciate Blue Chew and we appreciate John Hunter. John, welcome to the show. How's everything going? Can you give us an idea of why you're in town and what your schedule's looking like?
Yeah. Well, Spider and I have been talking about getting on the podcast for a while, and he invited me on one day via Zoom, and I told him I wasn't going to do Zoom. I was going to actually come to the office. So we finally made it happen. So thanks, Spider, for making it happen.
Thanks for being here.
We actually flew up here today. Short drive from here to Indy tomorrow, but we're here at Barstool HQ all day today, hanging out with Spider and Large, and got to hit some golf balls earlier in the golf sim. I'm sure Spider and I are going to have a bet later on about that for sure. And then we'll have some dinner tonight, hang out later. We're going to go see Chris Milley. I don't know if you know who that is. We get to do
I don't.
No, I don't know who that is.
No?
He's a boxer?
He's a professional boxer. He's undefeated. He's
Why the fuck don't I know?
Well, that's why
he's like...
I thought it's like Millie Rock type shit. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Let's take a look
at this. Large is a big boxing guy
So
as
I'm
well.
the boxing guy.
Yeah. So Chris Milley. So he's undefeated. I want to say he's like 18-0 right now. He was actually on the grid with us in Chicago when we were here a few weeks ago. So we're gonna go and do some training stuff with him later. We're gonna do a helmet swap for I don't know what he's gonna give me, but super excited for that. Have some dinner here in Chicago. Who knows? Spider and I might hang out later. We'll see. And then tomorrow we're actually going to the Bulls training facility. We're going to go walk around their facility with the COO and have a really good time. And then we're driving over to Indy tomorrow afternoon. We're going to go sit courtside at the Fever game. Go have some fun there before race weekend.
I like that. Remember when we spoke to Martin Truex the first year we did this? Martin was like, it used to be so cool. We'd race on Sunday, we'd get drunk until Thursday, and then we'd go back to the track and we'd race. You know, basically that was how it was. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I don't want to make Martin Truex out to be a functioning alcoholic, but it's one of those things. But I do see, as you guys are being asked to have more of a social presence, which, you know, and with the driver incentive program to kind of come and do, you know, stuff like this, it's nice to see these guys having a fucking ball outside of the track? You know, like meeting up with celebrities, whether it's like food influencers, some boxer, being at the, you know, at the Fever game, the whole deal. I think it's kind of cool, and I think it really humanizes the drivers and makes them easier to root for.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think what NASCAR has done, what we're able to do as drivers from a brand standpoint, and continuing to grow our brand has been absolutely amazing this year. NASCAR has put a lot of emphasis on us to help grow the sport and to bring in the younger generation, right? There's a lot of talk around that. So for us to be able to have a huge social presence, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, and now sitting here doing podcasts with you guys and things of that sort, it's fun to me. Like this side of the content creation side, I love.
What do they ask you to do that you're like, I don't want to do? Like Brad K should never step foot on a basketball court again. Everyone knows why. He's awful. Is there something where it's like, that's kind of outside of my comfort zone?
Not really, to be completely honest with you. I feel like I have a lot of hobbies, like probably more hobbies than a lot of people when it comes to that. So I'm in to a little bit of everything when it comes to that side for myself and my brand. And I just like to have fun. I like to be adventurous and have a good time.
Spider, can you give me one word describing Tyler Reddick throwing out a first pitch that we tried to coach him on? Just one word.
Horrible.
Horrible's a good one. So you see that a lot. Like, do you not have, and I see that a lot of these guys get thrown into cars at 6 years old, and all they do is race, and they make it to that level, and then you make it to the top level that you never did the little leagues that Spider and I had done through it. So a lot of these guys aren't good athletically. There are a couple guys who buck that trend. I think Denny's a pretty good athlete and very competitive outside. Where do you see yourself on that spectrum?
I'm just a natural born athlete.
Oh, Large. There it is. There it is. Stuck that shit.
I mean, I got my first go-kart when I was 3, right? Okay. I started racing at 5. I raced motocross starting at 7, but I played lacrosse, I played football, I played baseball. I played stick and ball sports growing up as well, just to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a kid, right? Played lacrosse all through middle school, played on a travel team through the summers and whatnot, got super big into it, and had a lot of fun with it. But I always kind of came back to racing. So around age 11, age 12, I decided that I wanted to get back in a stock car, and ever since then I've been racing. So hey, so talking about throwing out the first pitch, we did a Cubs game in 2023 for the first ever Chicago race, and no lie, the pitching coach tried to sign me after I threw a strike my first pitch. A lot
of shit talking from John Hunter.
You know who's another not good pitch thrower? I mean, Chase Briscoe threw out the first pitch this year at the Cubs game.
It was a BB.
He threw a dart. It was a good pitch. He actually had a pretty good windup, which is why he actually came here. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and then he went out on the court and was practicing, warming up for the first pitch.
That's awesome.
Well, he threw 2 strikes, and I was like, all right, like Chase is a pretty good ball player. It seems like let me get in the box. Everyone was like, Spider, get in the batter's box. And sure enough, I get in, just beamed me right in the head.
Did he?
He did.
Little chin music, or did it inadvertently?
No, like a little temple music.
Ooh. Chase Briscoe.
Luckily, I shook it off. Chase is like the nicest guy in the field. He was profusely apologizing. All of his the NASCAR Chicago staff was like messaging me like, I heard you got beamed. Are you okay?
Hey,
let's come back to that though, because maybe he's not a good guy.
Can we give a little golf clap for Chase for beaming Spider in the head?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I would have started clapping before I knew what I was clapping for. That's tough. One thing that I find admirable about you is, as much as you said, you kind of tried a bunch of different stuff, whether it be sports or you were in the content game long before the driver incentive program came around. Over 1 million subs on YouTube. Do you have any tips on how we can explode this page, and what has that journey been like, and why do you feel interested in that?
So for my side, on the YouTube side, one of my buddies back home in North Carolina, we grew up at similar high schools, things of that sort. He was actually a swimmer at Queens, went to Olympic trials and all that stuff, but he ended up deciding that he wanted to shoot content. And one of his first gigs, he was on tour with 2 Chainz. Wanted to get out of the music industry. So he started with me in 2019, I think, early 2019, and had been with me since until this year. We got into YouTube and kind of blew up our channel when shorts became a thing, right? Like Instagram Reels.
Yes.
and we really made our following and things of that sort from our YouTube shorts. YouTube was pushing a lot of shorts at that time, and we had one that blew up, and it has over 1 billion views.
Wow.
Like, it's insane.
Nice.
So it only takes one piece of content, right?
Yeah.
And I think the thing is like the most views on our content is like off the wall things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. Like, there's things that we'll shoot and I'll be like, man, this is cool, this is gonna pop off, and it doesn't do well. And then you post something and it's like, man, I don't really think that this is gonna like do well, just behind the scenes content, whatever it may be, and it blows up.
I find that to be the case with the food stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm doing food, like, there are some meals that I'll cover. I do a little food segment too every now and again, and it'd be the most delicious thing I've ever tried, and I can't get anyone to click on it. But then you throw on something that's questionable or it's got some quirk to it, and it fucking rips. So I guess you got to like sort of balance it out. You know what I mean? Because you sell your soul for clicks, and I'd sell more than my soul for 1 billion. You know what I mean? Like, just to get that thing, because we know how tough it is to come by. Let's talk about racing. So there's a couple of races this week. There was an Xfinity race. There's a young man named Connor Zilic. Apparently he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I'm fucking wrong about Connor Zilic.
Why? What'd you say?
Did you say he wasn't good?
No. I've always respected the kid. I've always said that he's the future. We've had him on the show, I think, twice. He's a very, very nice kid, respectful young man. I've met his parents, the whole deal. But when the whole announcement about Daniel being moved out of Trackhouse, I had said that maybe that's not the best idea because they already have an SVG. Why not get Connor better on ovals down in Xfinity for just one more year? Keep Daniel so you have an experienced oval driver alongside Ross, and then you have SVG also getting better. Maybe he would do it. Picks up his 4th win this weekend. I'm starting to change. And because if you look at his 4th win, Eric Jones had 4 wins their rookie year in Xfinity, his rookie year. Harrison Burton had 4 wins his rookie year in Xfinity. So it's not necessarily a one-time thing, but like Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, they won 5, and I think Chris Bell has the record for 7 wins his rookie year, which Connor can easily get to, and I think he's being wasted down there now. I'm convinced even more that this kid, you know, should be up in Cup. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I like Connor a lot. I would call him one of my friends in the garage for sure. Nice. Connor's a great guy. I've seen him kind of come up through the ranks. He was racing Trans Am cars, TA2 cars. My dad was helping work on some of that stuff and whatnot. So I've heard a lot about Connor for sure and how talented he is, natural born talent. I will say that to your point, right? The Cup car and the Xfinity car are 2 completely different cars now, right? 4 years ago, before 2023, I guess, when the next gen car came out, you could translate a lot of what you learned from the Xfinity car to the Cup car. Now it's completely different. Now reps are reps, right? Oval reps are oval reps. But to your point, like, I don't think that necessarily getting more seat time in an Xfinity car on ovals will translate to better racing on the Cup side. Yes, from an experience side of figuring out ovals and figuring out little tips and tricks for each little racetrack that you go to, but the driving style, things that you have to do with this next gen car, how you manipulate the car, with it being independent rear suspension compared to a solid rear axle, the downforce that it makes compared to the Xfinity car is so much fun to drive. Like, I will say that, but it's so different now. Like, you kind of have to relearn a little bit on ovals going to the Cup Series. I know I at least did coming into the Cup Series last year, from winning a ton of races in 2023 in the Xfinity Series and then hopping in last year. It's different. Like, the way you have to drive this car is completely different. So it's a mindset shift, but it's also like studying and having the tools and the resources around you to make you better.
Do you wish that you spent less time in Xfinity?
No, not necessarily.
I know everyone's different.
I think for me, like, my career path has been interesting, right? I went to the Cup Series in 2020. I only ran 1 full year of Xfinity, 1 part-time year of Xfinity. Went to the Cup Series, and I learned a lot that year. But I think for me, the revamp of my career from the Toyota perspective, and Kyle Busch, kind of helping me through that. The backstory behind that is I was flying with Kyle Busch every week during COVID. We would fly in, we'd race, and we would fly out. So he had his jet at the time, and it was nice to not have to go to the racetrack for 2 days, right?
Kind of nice,
it was
nice
awesome.
thing,
and Kyle him and I have a little bit of a relationship from the past of racing late models together, and he's always been someone that I've looked up to and asked questions and asked his perspective on things. He actually ran some of his first Xfinity starts when he signed with Hendrick with my dad's team, Nemechek, back in the day.
Okay.
And whatnot. So I've been able to see Kyle from myself as a kid when he was a young guy getting into NASCAR ranks, right? And the one question he asked me was, where do you want your career to go? And I said, I want to win races and I want to win championships in the Cup Series. That's it. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, why are you doing this right now? And I was like, that's an interesting question. 3 weeks later, I got a call from one of the head guys at Toyota TRD, now GR Racing. So I think for me, that talk and the heart-to-hearts that we had on his plane that year really kind of changed my mental structure of just being in the Cup Series, right? I didn't just want to be in the Cup Series to be in the Cup Series. And for me, being able to go back and run 2 years of trucks and win a lot of races, contend for 2 championships, go to the Xfinity Series, win a lot of races over that 3-year time period, running partial the first 2 years and then full-time in 23, and then getting the call, I guess, last year to come to Legacy. So no, I don't wish that I spent less time because I got to win a bunch of races and got to go to victory lane and things of that sort. But I do think that learning this car has been more of, I guess, a task than I thought it was going to be for myself in general.
Okay. Spider, I have a true or false question.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask both you guys this. Next year, if everything goes the way that it looks like it's going and Trackhouse is at least a 3-car team with Ross Chastain, SVG, and Connor Zilisch, SVG is the 3rd best person on that team.
False.
You think that's false?
Yeah.
So under what circumstances?
I don't know. I'm thinking now, like watching this kid
win-wise?
Watching this kid win on an oval, watching this kid contest SVG, go door to door with them. And we'll talk about Shane in a couple of minutes. Reluctantly, I hate Shane. I just don't like him.
Is that just because he's taller than you?
Yes, he's better than me. He's better than me in every way. So how about that? We'll just get that out of the way.
Gotcha.
His dog is better looking than my dogs. But I just see the way that Connor is, getting on ovals, and I think that that's kind of an even playing field when he comes up and starts challenging SVG in the Cup Series. And I also like the way he can go door to door with them on road courses.
Yeah, I think Connor has a tremendous talent on road courses, right? That's his background. He comes from go-karting and running sports cars and things of that sort. And the sports cars relate a lot to our Cup cars when it comes to road courses with the independent rear suspension and whatnot. I think that's why you see SVG so good at road courses in this car, right? Like, it's the way that he can manipulate the car and get things around. I'm going to say false to that question as well.
Okay.
Just from Connor's rookie year. I know how hard a rookie year can be from my perspective. And I hope Connor has success. I mean, I hope I beat him every week if that's the way that things go. But your rookie year is tough for sure.
Okay.
I just think that, SVG has what 4 wins in like the last 5 weeks.
3.
It's insane. So I think he's the guy to beat, and I think there's something to be said about like you said, it takes a while before these guys seem like they're comfortable behind the Cup cars.
See how I changed my fucking tune though? I went from saying keep this kid down there for at least another year to now totally being a hypocrite and saying that he's better than SVG. Maybe it's my SVG hatred that's getting in the way.
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
It will be interesting to see next year those 2 guys duke it out on the road course, SVG and Zilisch. We've seen a little bit of that on the Xfinity level this year. So I don't know. But I also think those guys are smart enough not to implicate each other. You know what I mean? They're not going to take their car out of the race.
Yeah.
Trackhouse will win. It's just a matter of
how it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I got to interrupt here real quick.
Please.
Right? So we got to talk about a bet.
A bet?
A bet.
Okay.
So Spider and I had a bet a few weeks ago.
I thought I got drunk and made a bet in Mexico or something. I'm so
and
glad
honestly, I lost that bet.
You did?
Sadly. So I'm here to repay my prize.
Let's go.
You'll see what this is, Large.
So just for those listening, this looks awesome, by the way.
Yes.
The bet was, I forget what track it was, but it was John Hunter to finish top 10. If he does, Spider had to shave his head completely.
Yep. And I got to do it, by the way.
What do you mean?
I got to shave you completely, beard and all. He was going to be like baby
you look
face.
like an infant.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So, but then if he didn't get a top 10, I got his finest fire suit. So I believe that's what this is here. Looks like it's getting personally inscribed, which is awesome. Yeah. And I mean, this studio just awesome to have another one in the collection here. For whatever reason, I really love having the race used fire suits.
I've given up.
Yeah?
They can't get. I mean, I realize that I'm not the body type of the typical driver, so there are very few hanging around. Whatever.
Well, you collect the hoods. You got the pizza
a couple
hood.
hoods.
You got the Bowman hood in New York office.
And I got a quarter panel from Martin.
Yep.
And I got a quarter panel from Gibbs.
Oh, that's sick.
Sent to Bridge. But JD, our boy from Monster.
Yep.
Shout out JD. Look at this thing.
So
that's gorgeous.
Is it. So it's personally signed to Spider.
Let's go.
It says, I effing hate losing to you. Congrats on the win.
Thank you so much. Pleasure doing business with you.
Dude.
We'll have to do another bet for the golf.
The golf sim?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're putting money on that one, though.
All right.
That's it for us at Rubbin is Racing. We'll see you guys next week. So like JD had said that he's going to get me one from one of the pit guys.
Hey, I think you should put that on.
I was going to say, that's what I was.
You about to slide that thing on?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it on quick. I'll be right back with you guys. Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Sounds
so
good.
I think some of the crew guys, and you'll know more than anybody, these pit crew guys, when they walk you guys out in driver intros, it's sort of like bring your kid to work day. Because they're all these gigantic fellas, and by definition, the dudes who are
you're still on camera, bro.
No, I want it to be.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to take his hog out or anything like that. But it's
you
nice.
You wouldn't be able to see it anyways.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not that powerful of a camera. But so I think I might be able to get one from some of these pit guys because they're monsters.
Yeah, they're huge.
That was one of the first things that we had learned when we started going to tracks, and we're very close friends with like Paul Swan, that gentleman who's the ex-bounty hunter for Chase Elliott. What the hell is that? TJ. Yeah. There's all these like big monsters of guys.
Yep.
And some of those guys have great personalities too. I'm really glad that the broadcast is giving them some shine each and every week. This is almost a perfect fit for you, Spider.
It's pretty close.
Right?
Yeah. That one doesn't fit anymore. I'm getting too fat for the Rubbin one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that one might be a little tight.
Spider and I went down to Richmond to do a drive along with Dale Jr.
Yeah.
And they put me in a regular extra large one, and I look like a sausage that split its casing. But that's very, very nice, Spider.
Jimmy, Spider is ready. Let's throw him in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a backup
contract.
driver if Legacy needs anyone.
Any help?
I will tell you, the last time we saw Jimmy was in Daytona, and he was locked out of his truck.
Yeah, he was locked out of the bus.
The bus.
Yeah.
So our bus was next door to his. So I go over, I'm talking to Jimmy, and, it's always nice. And you guys had the nice tent out with Legacy and whatnot. They were like, drivers to the grid in 15 minutes. Jimmy's like, okay, I'm going to go get dressed. I was like, cool. Couldn't get into the fucking bus. They were like pushing and almost ripped the handle off. He had to go get like another Carvana one out of a car in the parking lot, I believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the generic one. That guy is a cool customer.
Yeah.
What's it like working with him? What's it like trying to glean stuff from one of the best to ever do it?
It's been absolutely amazing, to tell you the truth.
There's the selfie thing going on for those listening at home.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing to be able to work with Jimmy. Jimmy has been another guy that I've had a relationship with for a while, someone that I called to ask about my move back to the Truck Series and a couple other deals that were working, and he always gave me great advice. Like, he didn't have to, right? But Jimmy is such a genuine guy. When you sit down and talk to him, like, you would never know that he is who he is. He's so humble, and he does so many great things. Like, I haven't found really anything other than basketball that he sucks at, let's say. And I think from my perspective, being able to have a boss that's a 7-time champion that has 83 cup wins, I think, is really the GOAT, right? Like, he dominated.
He's a Rushmore guy.
And he has a different mindset than a lot of drivers, in my opinion, when it comes to racing and things of that sort. And he's been able to help me a lot. He's helped me through some tough times, and from the mental side of things. And if I get down on myself about not qualifying well or whatever it may be, he's always there to remind me, right? So Jimmy's role in the company is much more than just a boss. Like, he's been a great friend. He's been a great advisor, a great mentor, a great boss in general. And I think for me, being able to have someone like that in your corner that wants you, that believes in you, that wants to push you to be better each and every week. And like, I can ask him for advice, but he's not afraid to speak up at times and offer advice as well from things that he sees and things that are going on. And I think what separates him a lot from some of the different owners is he has the past driving experience and kind of knows what we're going through and things of that sort. And if Eric and I are complaining about something that our car is not doing right, or that we need it to do better to get more speed or whatever it may be, he's fully engaged in that conversation and asking those questions from a driver perspective of like, okay, well, if you do this, will it do this? And things of that sort. So having him still run some races is nice, right?
Should he be running some races? I think that's another one of my lukewarm takes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it does. I'm not saying it's ruining his legacy. I don't think anyone is saying that out loud, because it's certainly not. He's done way too much in the sport and continues to do way too much in the sport for these, back of the pack finishes to ruin his legacy. But is it that important to your sponsors and to the company as a whole to see a guy like that who is consistently in the winner's circle consistently not be now?
I mean, he finished third at Daytona.
No, and I know that you're gonna. Yeah, okay.
I mean,
so you're right.
So, yes and no, right? To answer your question, Jimmy still has the drive. He still has the want to race, right? Like once a racer, always a racer.
Yes.
Like always want to drive something, always want to compete at the highest level possible, right? I think where it gets difficult sometimes is that he has so many roles that he's playing right now. He can't just focus on being a driver at times, right? And there is something to that of like needing to focus on just being a driver and studying the material and things of that sort. But I will say when he comes around the shop and he is driving, like he's asking a lot of questions to learn, and it makes all of us better.
Yeah, that's probably
so
true.
Like I can understand your perspective on it, right? And I think he can understand your perspective on it. But when it comes down to it, like he has a go to the sport, and I don't think it'll kill his legacy, especially from now being a race team owner in NASCAR. Like this is his legacy 2.0, and how do we continue to build it? Hence the name Legacy Motor Club, right? Like we are here to build our legacy, Eric and myself, within Legacy Motor Club. And for him, it's how do I create my secondary legacy of being a team owner and being able to win races and win championships. Like I hope that we win 7 championships for him, right? As a team owner, I hope we win a ton of races for him. And he's doing everything from the team side. We're building from the ground up right now. Like there's no alliances, no nothing when it comes to that. So it's brick by brick. And how do we continue to get better each and every week? And it's hard going against the big 3. I mean, there's a lot of notes. There's 4 cars that are running every week. But the improvements that we've made over the last 8 months have been incredible, in my opinion. And part of that has happened since Jimmy has become majority owner in the team, that he's making decisions and things of that sort. And I can tell you one thing, the whole culture in the shop, like I would say even here, right? Like culture is everything with the people that work for you, and how you interact and things of that sort. And everyone is bought in at the shop. Everyone is bought into Jimmy's vision, and the whole culture has completely changed over the last 8 or 9 months. And it's great to be a part of. Like I'm having so much fun this year. It's fun showing up to the racetrack knowing that you're probably going to have speed. The weeks that you don't have speed, it's frustrating, right? But at the same time, we're in this for the long haul. We're in this to build this and to get this team to where we can contend for wins each and every week.
And one thing Jimmy said recently was that it's his intentions and Legacy's intentions and ambition to put another car in the field next year, or maybe even 2027. What's your position on that? And do you think that's something we'll see as soon as next year? And if it were up to you, who would you hire to drive the third car?
Yeah.
We were speaking pretty highly of Kyle Busch there a minute ago.
Yeah. I'm not in the day-to-day discussions on the whole charter situation and everything that's going on. I'm pretty removed from that on timing, and I do know that it's known, right, that they want to add a third car, but as far as details, I don't know. I mean, I think a third car would help. I don't think it'll hurt, right? I think from our perspective, what I was saying about the big 3, they have 4 cars, right? Or Penske has 3, technically 4, whatever. When you go to the racetrack with 4 cars, that's 4 times the amount of laps in practice. That's 4 times the amount of qualifying runs, right? Compared to 2. It's just information. And the more information you have, the better decisions you can make, the more you can build that notebook, for sure. When you have 2, it's hard. You're trying to build it with 2 cars and trying to make adjustments and things of that sort. But I will say the way that the processes and procedures have come to the forefront of what we're doing at Legacy Motor Club this year, we have been able to build our notebook better in 2025 than even what we had in 2024.
You can see it. Right? I mean, we've seen the improvements across the board, and it's very, very nice to see from a personal perspective with us, and obviously from you from a professional perspective. I should have laid down some groundwork when I first introduced John Hunter. Spider and I have no liability when it comes to talking about stuff. So the fact that I had heard John in the men's room say that he was about to poach Tyler Reddick because he's technically not on a thing, like, I shouldn't mention that. No, but in all honesty, like, we might talk about stuff.
Fake news.
That's all he is. Full of fake news.
Well, all fake news. But we might talk about stuff that honestly you could just take a pass on too, because I know that working with professional athletes like boxers, my whole career, those guys don't have the liability that NASCAR guys do, because you literally wear your sponsors on your chest. I've never seen anything like that before. So we'll be extremely cognizant of that.
Yeah,
but we're also going to ask you some way out shit.
That's fine.
Especially about the Tyler Reddick poaching thing. I didn't like hearing that from you at the stall before. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's so messed up,
Didn't
Large.
happen.
That did not happen. Large did not go into the men's room with me, just for clarity.
Yes, I always kind of hang out there.
Anyway.
Let's go to it. Before I move on to the Cup race this week, I do want to say that Gluck had mentioned that the CW is averaging over 1 million eyes every week.
That's
on
awesome.
on the Xfinity thing. And I'm telling you that the Dover race was the highest rated Dover race in 9 years, and that was rain shortened.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So for them to be pulling, I think they're averaging like 1.17 million eyes or pairs of eyes every week.
Yep.
It's great for the Xfinity series.
Yeah.
And it's great for guys that may be there for, lifers. I don't know what all guys are going to wind up doing. I don't know what Austin Hill's going to wind up doing.
Yep.
So to have those guys have real platforms, the CW and Xfinity is putting on great shows every week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what do you guys think about the broadcasts this year from the Cup side, from the Xfinity side?
I thought it's been great. I personally love when they have the Cup drivers go in and broadcast the Xfinity races.
Yep.
Get to hear from a lot of different voices. It's kind of like this show, like hearing from you at length. Typically we just do an interview. It's just quick, brief, 30 minutes or less.
Yep.
So having the actual full experience, I think, is great. And then on the Cup side, I think Amazon did a great job bringing a new audience in. And the stats that I saw from that were very encouraging as well. Even if the viewership overall took a little bit of a hit, the demographic of people actually watching, I think, was encouraging if you're NASCAR. A lot younger audience, average age of viewership was down, which I think is good. Like you said earlier, we got to get the next generation interested and involved and captivated in the sport. So I think overall it's been great. And I think NASCAR is doing a great job as well with some of the new initiatives, whether it be, moving the Clash or Mexico City race, Chicago street race, and now of course San Diego next year will be awesome.
I'm pretty pumped about San Diego, to be honest with you. I hated to see Chicago go away. This has been one of my favorite racetracks that we've come to, just from the atmosphere, the energy, being able to stay in a hotel and literally walk across the street to the garage.
Yeah.
Like, it's been absolutely amazing to be in a city for once. And I know when we were at Joliet or Chicagoland Speedway, it was hard to get a crowd to come from downtown Chicago, right? So
I mean, you sat in O'Hare traffic today. It's not easy.
Dude, O'Hare traffic, I don't know how you live here. Man, it's awful. Like, I will say that O'Hare traffic is worse than bumper to bumper at Daytona running 200 mile an hour. Like, it's way worse.
Clip that.
Yeah. Honestly.
Put that on the fucking brosure. Right? For Chicago, the Windy City, my ass. All you do is sit in goddamn traffic.
Yeah.
Place is dumb.
No, it is crazy. It's so far to get to O'Hare. Has no business being that long.
But really, it's not that far mileage-wise.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It should be way quicker.
I mean, I
than
missed
it is.
the puppies today because we're sitting in O'Hare traffic.
Oh, yeah, they're cute today, too.
Yeah.
Dang.
So Barstool
Pretty
is, we're part-time trying to save every stray dog in the world. And that's basically what Barstool's mission is now. So we always have, adopted dogs coming in. And so we had a couple in here today. When we had Bowman on in the New York office last year, he brought like 3 or 4. He works for like rescue type thing too. So dogs are always big, but we don't fuck with cats.
That's awesome. We're actually doing a canine event in Indianapolis on Friday.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Eric Jones and myself. So super excited for that.
Eric Jones could be one of the nicest people I've ever met. Is there a chink in that armor that I don't know about? Does he pull the wings off of butterflies when no one's looking? Or is he as nice as really? Is that one of those things?
No, I love Eric. I love Eric. Him and his wife Holly and their baby David, they're fun to be around. I've been able to spend quite a bit of time with Eric over the last year and a half of being at Legacy Motor Club, and like we raced against each other in late models growing up, but never had a relationship. Like we knew who each other were. While he was at KBM, I was running some truck stuff. We never raced against each other, I don't think, in the Xfinity series, and I got to race against him in 2020 some when he was still at JGR. But he's just a great personality. Like him and Matt Kenseth, you know how Matt Kenseth has like a dry sense of humor, right? Do you know what rule number 1 is?
No.
Only Matt's jokes are funny. So if you make fun of Matt, it does not go well.
Really?
Right?
That's how I kind of operate as well.
Eric is like, he is that way, right? Like he can dish it and he can take it, which is awesome.
Okay.
But he picks on Matt so much, and I love it. I love the banter of it. He is one of the nicest guys for sure that I've known. Although he did make me buy him dinner in Sonoma because I beat him a couple weeks ago.
So we're going to get into the in-season tournament in a minute, but before we do, if there were hypothetically a tournament bracket style of the nicest guys in NASCAR, I have my final 2 that I would pick, but from a driver's perspective, who would you say wins?
Take yourself out. We can't
take myself out.
Yeah, so we'll do this without having to mention you. Right? Okay. You're an honorable mention.
Yeah. That's tough. A lot of people are going to go against me on this, just from the way that he acts or has acted in the past, like on TV and things that he's done. But I'm going to go. I'm going to go Kyle Busch.
See, that's
on one of them.
I don't get that.
No, I love that.
On the other hand, I'm going to go. That's a tough one. It's between Christopher Bell and Eric Jones.
Oh,
really?
I was going to say my final would be Eric Jones versus Chase Briscoe. So I think Eric is one of the nicest guys in the field.
I mean, Chase is definitely a nice guy. I don't have a super close relationship with Chase. I've never really hung out with Chase, so I don't necessarily know from that dynamic. But from guys that I know, those are probably my final 2.
Awesome.
I would say probably Danica and no, I'm just kidding.
Of course you would pick Danica large.
Exactly. When you had said Kyle before, because he does have that gruff exterior. So, and you see him around his kid, and he's so great with his kid. You see him out around Samantha. He's great. Like, dude, he's let himself go on social media, too. It's kind of nice to see that personality. So, but you're right. I think on the track, he hides that pretty well.
He does.
I don't approach him. I don't say hello to him. I was on the Boulevard in Nashville, on Broadway. In Nashville, Boulevard, fucking Talladega. And I had seen him, and I had gone over. I was overserved. I said, "Hey, so nice to talk to you. I can't wait to have you back on the show, Kurt." And I called him fucking Kurt Busch. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fuck with that guy at all. And he totally let me go.
Yeah,
I was a little bit stumble drunk or whatever. And I was going to his brother's party in Nashville. Kurt's like 3rd retirement party. You know what I mean? Like the whole deal.
I'm
so
not
it's one of those
say
things.
A word about that.
So I'm shocked to hear that he's one of the nicer guys, but I'm fucking happy to hear it. So maybe I'll try to break that ice again.
Yeah, for sure. He. Off the racetrack, away from the racetrack, he's definitely one of the nicest guys.
Aces. Denny Hamlin, double OT goes back-to-back the Monster Mile. Series best 4th win in 2025. His 58th win overall. 2nd win after his 700th NASCAR Cup Series start. Only 10 drivers have multiple wins after their 700th start. So that's and the list of drivers that join Denny Hamlin on that list are all absolutely elite. So congratulations to Denny. Red flag comes out because of the rain with 14 laps to go. I thought the race was over just because of what we'd seen with Connor the other day.
I wish it was over.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. But you think they were fucking with Denny? That's the conspiracy on that one. Spidey scoops. They kind of went back to a restart. Let's wait for an hour for the rain to come by. We know how the rain is tough to call. They do that to fuck with Denny, not to give him the easy, quote-unquote, easy win?
I don't think so. I think they just wanted to go back green. It's you want to finish the races under green flag or not rain conditions as much as possible. So
right.
I think it's the same way with Chicago as well. Like, they probably could have, changed things, and they ended up letting it go in entirety, and it was great in my opinion.
Yeah, so from the Dover perspective, right? That rain was going to be short-lived. Like, there were clear blue skies.
Convinced. It was
like,
literally one cloud.
Yeah, it was one cloud, right? So, like, when I got out of the car, when they started drawing the racetrack, off in the distance, it was completely blue skies. Like, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. So, from that perspective, it's like, we're going to go back racing. Like, you knew that it was going to happen.
Okay. I just love to throw the conspiracies in there, right?
It's a good conspiracy, but I don't think it's real.
Chase Elliott probably had the fastest car on Sunday, but then obviously the pit strategy came back to bite him in the ass. And this week, the Chase fans are calling for Alan Gustafson's head. As a driver, do you have to go out and publicly defend crew chiefs and whatnot? Or is it one of those things where you're like, they're not blaming me for once? You know what I mean? And you kind of sink into the background.
No, we have each other's back. I mean, that crew chief, driver, spotter role, that is the most important part on that team from a leadership perspective and from having belief in your crew guys. I will say that, I'll bring up this instance, right? I brought Ben Bayshore with me. He's now Eric Jones's crew chief this year and at the end of last year, but I brought him with me from 2023 of racing Xfinity, winning a bunch of races, contending for the championship to come be my Cup crew chief again last year, or bringing him back to the Cup Series, let's say. And a lot of people blamed Ben for ruining Kyle's career at Joe Gibbs Racing, right? And I went public defense mode at that point because Ben was my guy. He was someone that I believed in and things of that sort. So for me, no matter how tough times are, if you're not winning races or things aren't going good, you have to defend your guy. They have to know that you're all in with them and you have to have the belief in them.
Because sometimes it's easier just to throw them under the bus. I don't know exactly who Richard Childress was throwing under the bus when he went over the radio and said, we got to get better cars or something. I thought it was almost self-deprecating to him. Kyle is driving the shit out of this car. I got to get him something better to put underneath him. And I like that. Yeah. Unless he was saying the engineer guys are shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's from a whole team perspective, right? Everyone is chasing that fine balance and speed with this next-gen car. I mean, all the cars are the same, technically, right? All the cars come from single source manufacturers. Everyone has all the same parts, pieces, components. It's how you put them together. It's what you have setup wise. It's the aero pitch platform that you have as far as nose up, tail down, or nose down, car flat, things of that sort that can make a huge difference, right? So I think from a team perspective, it's not just calling out one guy. It's not just from my perspective, it's not me going to Travis Mack, my crew chief now, and being like, hey, we suck. I don't know what to tell you to do, but we're awful, right? It is a full team meeting of figuring out, okay, how are we going to get better? What areas are we going to look at to get better? Because like I said, everyone has all the same stuff. So it's being done. It's just how do you get that little bit better at each and every week as you go through the year? I mean, consistency is huge, right, in this deal. And I know the last couple of years have definitely been a struggle for Kyle at RCR Racing, right? But I think from his perspective, when this car was new in 2022, he went out and won, two races, something like that. So the continuous improvement of this car with each and every team is big. But again, back to my point earlier from the 2-car team, right? Richard Childress Racing is a 2-car team, and they're trying to build that notebook. When you are going up against the big 3 that have 4 cars, they're building that notebook 2 times faster than the rest of the guys. And there's a lot there.
Let's give out some flowers from this weekend. Chase Briscoe had a runner-up result. It gave Joe Gibbs Racing a 1-2 finish. He scored back-to-back runner-up results in the past 2 weekends. Sunday's finish was his 8th top 5 finish in 21 races. So he has 8 top 5s. He had 13 top 5 finishes in his 144 Cup starts before this season. So congratulations to Chase, right?
That's awesome.
And like you said, couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yep.
Alex Bowman had a 3rd-place finish. It's his 3rd top 5 in the last 6 races. So he moved from 12th to 9th in points after Sunday. And then Ty Gibbs also seems to be getting into a fucking groove here, right? His 5th-place finish marks his 7th consecutive top 15. He's gone from 27th in points to 16th in that stretch. And he also advances to the finals of the in-season challenge and will race for $1 million next week in Indy.
Can I give a flower to Ty Dillon too for beating me?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, let's go to it. Let's talk about the bracket challenge update. So the NASCAR in-season challenge, Ty Dillon over some scrub, and then Ty Gibbs over Tyler Reddick gives us a tie versus tie for $1 million. One of the guys that we follow religiously on social media, and we've met him a bunch of times at the track, is NASCAR Chasm. That guy, Spider? You know him too? Yeah, he's a great guy. He has the T-shirt. It says it's the ones with like Ty Dillon, a couple of his different faces. It just says Dillionaire across it. That's fucking hot, right? So now we got this Ty Dillon versus Ty Gibbs. If you look at DraftKings, they can give you the one-on-one matchup, and I think Ty Gibbs is a pretty big favorite. I think he's minus 260. But Ty Dillon continues to wear the glass slipper. How do you feel about going up against him last week? How do you feel? I mean, obviously you're disappointed. Yeah. But let's talk about him.
Man, I was hoping to shatter that glass slipper.
You were looking to fucking put it right up his ass.
It didn't work. Yeah. We struggled really bad last weekend with no practice and qualifying. Our first time back at Dover, new crew chief, kind of new notes, things of that sort. We struggled really bad. We worked really hard on our car all day. We executed stage 3 perfect until the rain delay. Like, I did not need that to happen. He made it. He had a really good restart, made it 3 wide there at the end, put me top of 3, got underneath of us, and caution came out and he was ahead, and then we had another restart. The shortest lane was to pick behind him at that point. Had another really good restart. I was on his bumper, caution came out, he got the lucky dog, so we didn't even get to really race for it. But we were around each other all day. Like, we raced each other so hard all day, and I think that's what's cool, right? Like, from the in-season bracket challenge, when you don't have a shot to win, right? Obviously, you're trying to finish the best that you can every single week. But when you're going head to head with a guy that you're racing against all day, and you guys are trading spots back and forth, green flag pit cycles, restarts, things of that sort, it's fun. It gives you something to race for, right? It's really,
gives
really
us something to watch.
Yeah, exactly. So, kudos to NASCAR, kudos to TNT for the in-season bracket challenge. It's been a blast to be a part of, and I think even from the content creation side, the content capture, Ty has definitely been very vocal. But it's brought out a lot of personalities and a lot of different drivers that I don't think that you would have seen if we were just racing on a weekly basis and not talking a bunch of crap to each other.
What was the tagline I gave Dylan last week? John Hunter will never see this check for $1 million. So like we were trying, so we had Ty Dillon on last week. I gave him a bunch. One of them I couldn't repeat here because there's a young lady in the room. But like, I'm wondering now, is there something that Dylan can use against Ty this weekend, like a catchphrase? Like we're racing in Indy and he can grab Indy's nuts or something. Like, I don't know. Like what can we say to him? Think about that and come back to me.
So who do you pull for now? Ty versus Ty.
Oh man, from the Toyota banner, politically, Ty Gibbs. But I will say the Cinderella story is pretty amazing. Like, it's hard to go against that.
That's where I'm at, and I'm a Ty Gibbs guy.
Yeah, so like for me, it's hard to pull against Ty Dillon just from the Cinderella story of how well he's done through this whole bracket challenge, right? Everyone has counted him out every weekend, and I knew that going into last weekend, right? Like, I knew it wasn't going to be an easy task. Should we outrun him? Yes. Right? Like, from the performance of our cars this year, we should outrun him very easily. But I think where a lot of guys have been sleeping on Ty, like, man, this is an easy guy to beat, and him and his team continue to execute, and they've done a really good job at it just to advance, right? Like,
finishing races is the most important part of this bracket, right? Because there's always going to be something happening.
Him shipping Bowman at Sonoma to advance, like, that was pretty big too, right? So they've done a really good job, and our mindset last week was like, we were going into the week knowing that it was going to be a tough task. Like, we didn't think it was just going to be easy and whatnot, and it definitely wasn't easy. So who knows? I mean, the thing is, anything can happen in this bracket challenge. Let's say Ty Gibbs gets involved in a wreck or has a pit road penalty or something like that this weekend, and they don't execute well. As long as Ty Dillon executes well, it's probably his to lose, right?
His average finish there is like 17, and Ty Gibbs only raced there once and finished in mid-20s.
Yeah.
Gives us no right?
I think it's great from the betting perspective.
I think it really does make it a lot of fun, and the way that Dylan had approached these. Listen, giving $1 million to a kid, it's sort of like, oh, Ty Gibbs, they both have very wealthy grandfathers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there can be like a Nepo baby versus Nepo baby, Thai versus Thai, the Thai fighters, whatever you want to do.
Thai fighters.
There's been so many people who have commented or criticized this bracket challenge because of the way they set up the brackets with that 3 race sample size to determine, 1 through 32, and also the timing of it, starting with super speedway, having a couple of road courses, that whole thing. I think that should be tweaked. Something should happen to it. But what was most disappointing to me, and again, I'm having a very good time with it, Spider and I both are, Pockrass had put out this week that the drivers don't get it.
Yeah.
It goes to the owners, and it all depends on the contracts with the owners on whether or not maybe it's the same thing with the All-Star race, maybe it's the same thing with other cash prizes given. But I think if they're going to do this bracket again, I think they need to bring the fucking briefcase with the $1 million and give it to John Hunter Nemechek so he can run home. You know what I mean? And just take a treasure bath. Don't you see that, or is that crazy?
I mean, I see it from both perspectives, right? Like my plan with it was I was going to take a very hefty percentage and give back to all the team guys, right? Like that was going to happen no matter what. And I don't know. Like it's hard to say, right? From both perspectives, but I mean, it would be cool to have a briefcase full of $1 million.
And that's another thing. Like you
it.
Can't necessarily say as a driver, it should go to drivers, because then you look like an asshole. But Spider, you do get my point here. Like I think instead of giving it to.
First of all, I love the idea of you giving it and sharing it with your team. I think that's pretty selfless and respectable. But I'm just of the opinion that it's been billed this whole time as like kind of like, and again, maybe I'm wrong about this, like the All-Star race where it's the actual driver winning the $1 million, not the team. And I understand the teams operate kind of like the Barstool model, whereas, you work there and you get paid a salary, or, there's contract incentives for success and performance-based like that. But for the most part, I was led to believe that this $1 million would have been going to the drivers. So then when I saw this Bob Pockrass thing, I was like, I was
disappointed. Yeah. I don't know why. It's not a huge deal, but it just takes it away, because it almost strikes me as the bracket challenges we've always had.
Yeah.
And then you kick back 10% to the person who gave you the bracket, right? And then, you have to whack it up amongst whatever, your kids and shit like that. I just wanted it to go to the drivers. And it's stupid in my head. I think that should be tweaked, though. And again, the briefcase is a nice touch.
I like the briefcase idea.
Cool? Like,
that'd be
come down there and just treasure bath, whatever.
Or like the money just starts falling.
Yeah, because then you'd have to pick it up.
Yeah, that would be, but it would look sick.
Especially with my back.
Yeah.
Would work out. Oh well. So let's. I'm sorry to be jumping all around.
No, you're good.
Denny has 58 wins. How many more is he shooting for? Obviously, every time Denny gets a win, they say that same thing. And 3 more, he jumps Harvick for 10th place with 61. I think that's very doable for Denny, right? To get another 3 more to jump over Harvick. 6 more, he jumps Kyle Busch at number 9, and then he's below Dale, who has 76 wins at number 8. So I think Denny's thinking is that there are guys like Larson and guys like Logano who may challenge him for this race win. And even Kyle Busch, if he does peel off another couple, he wants that buffer to just kind of get to a point where he's 10 behind Dale. And I think that's probably doable for Denny. When you see longevity like that, like I had mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there's only a handful of guys, 10 guys in NASCAR history that have wins or multiple wins after their 700th start. How do you see yourself now as a young man? 28?
28.
And Denny is what, 67? So how do you see yourself?
Something like that.
What's the trajectory that you see? Can you think you got 700 in you? Like, what do you say?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I definitely think I got 700 in me. I'm making my 100th start here next week at Iowa, I think, in the Cup Series. So I do think that I have 700 in me. I mean, heck, I would probably race till mid-50s or so if I could, and I was still competitive winning races, right? I think that the NASCAR side of things, like you look at the ages and you kind of hit your peak or start peaking mid-30s, I would say, late 30s, and kind of you can continue that climb. I mean, you look at Martin Truex's stats and his results and things of that sort. Like, he was still on the upward climb until the last year or so, right?
Yeah.
When you look at that. So, I mean, age is just a number, right? Some of it comes back to experience.
Talking to me, brother.
Yeah. And I mean, Spider knows too. He's like 50.
Yeah, he's a sneaky 50.
We're like the same age.
Yeah.
But,
I'm the same age as Spider's dad.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That is nuts.
Our first time we went to the track.
No, he's definitely older.
He went to the track. It was Spider and I, and it was, I think it might have been Daytona. We were standing in pit row for the beginning of the race.
Yep.
He jumped up on one of the, the concrete barriers and jumped onto my shoulder so he could see. And some woman came by. She's like, "It's so nice to see somebody bring their son to the track." You know what I mean?
awesome.
Spider was just up there. You know what I mean? The whole deal.
a great time.
So we get a lot. All right. So we spoke about Denny. We spoke about the run that he may or may not make into the twilight of his career. Let's go to the kind of the opposite side of the spectrum with another youngster and do our weekly Carson host of our segment. For some reason, Carson gives us something to speak about every fucking week. And last week he'd said he has no friends around the shop. He'd hung out with Bubba Wallace once, and that's about it. And I don't know, people took that as a little bit strange, including Dale Jr., who was interviewing at the time. And then he doubled down today saying that I don't really like to have a call and do that and apologize on Monday, say whatever, even if you do not intentionally do it or not, you're never going to say that to the person. He was talking about how Josh Berry had reached out to him after spinning him. And then Josh had reached out to either explain or apologize. He never took the call, never picked up the text message. I kind of agree with him there. Like if somebody puts you in the wall or does something, have you had it where they reached out to you the following day and said, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry that I did that to you, buddy. It's a racing incident." Or have you made that call to people, and how did they react to it? And you think that it's something that needs to be done going forward?
Yes and no.
I've never had LT call up fucking Joe Theismann and say, "I'm sorry for crushing your leg." Like it just doesn't happen a lot in other sports.
It just depends on the situation, right?
Okay.
Like for instance, I got out of shape at Sonoma and got into Larson. He ended up spinning. I ended up going off track, right? And I thought that deserved an apology from my side of things, right?
Okay.
Like I texted him about it. He texted me back, we chatted a little bit about it.
Was he cool about it?
Yeah, I mean, the situation sucks, right?
Okay.
And you're going to be pissed off about it no matter what.
Yes.
Like, I would be as well, right? Mm-hmm. But from it being unintentional to being intentional, I think there's two separate things there, right? Like, if you completely mess up and it's unintentional, like, "Hey, man, I did not mean to do that. I am really sorry." Like, I fully expect at some point to get dumped by Larson because I spun him out, right? That's just my thinking of it. Like you race others how you want to be raced type of situation. But in that, like, at least he knows that I didn't mean to do that, right? Like he had went back and watched it, and like even to his text, it was like, "Yeah, it looked like you were out of shape in my mirror," type of situation, whatever it may be, and you move on from it, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's intentional and I'm just sitting there and I'm gonna wreck you or whatever it may be, like I don't necessarily think that a guy is gonna reach out at that point, right? So it's situational in my opinion.
Okay. Spider, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about guys kind of calling up and doing the whole, it's just, I hate that happened?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not a driver, but if I were, well, I feel like one. If I were one, I would say I would want to have,
like one.
Yeah, right? It would have to be at the track right after the race. I think the longer you wait, it just gets more uncomfortable or less genuine or things like that. Like, I'm the kind of guy, if something were to happen to me, I want to go speak to that person and squash things there, and not necessarily
cooler heads still prevail. Like remember when Buescher jumped out of his car and came towards Reddick?
Yeah,
I was like, somebody get in there. Reddick's, Buescher seems like an ass kicker.
You
know what I mean?
I would not want to fight Chris Buescher.
Yeah, I'm going to ask the bar fight question after this, but go ahead, Spider. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just think I'm the kind of guy that would want to squash stuff immediately, and I know sometimes that probably is foolish because a lot of times, it is good to go and cool off a little bit and watch what actually happened and kind of refine your position on everything. But I just think it's way better when the things are addressed in real time. It's no different than when a guy says like, "Oh, I didn't like the way this guy raced me," and then they wait 4 weeks, 5 weeks before they, get revenge on him. Like, I'm an instant gratification kind of guy, so.
Or even when Wood Brothers put out, "Oh, you remember what he did to Harrison last season?" I was like, what the fuck?
It's like, not really, let me go.
Yeah, took him out and fucking under yellow. I do remember it, but still, that's a stretch.
You got to strike while the iron's hot, in my opinion.
That's good. If you had to pick two guys in the Cup Series, not even the Cup Series. We can go Xfinity and trucks too, but I think Cup Series is probably best. Two guys to be at your back when you're in a bar clearing brawl.
Yep.
Right? Who would it be? Who are the two baddest asses that you would want backing you up in a bar fight in the Cup Series right now?
Chris Buescher and Austin Hill. You got to have that country boy strength.
He seems like a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Preece strikes me as one of those guys, too.
I would agree. Ryan is not afraid. That is for sure. I mean, Chris, like when you talk to Chris, he's a big old teddy bear. But he's just a big old country boy. Like, I don't think I would want to fight him, and I definitely would not want to fight Austin Hill. I've seen, so when Austin Hill was a part of the Toyota TRD program, we would go and spar and things, and like...
You would spar with him?
I'd never sparred with him. But like I would see him hit things and like his fighting, I guess, moves, however you want to say that, his style. I would not want to go up against that. So I would hope that those two would have my back in a bar fight.
You know who's a sneaky animal? Daniel Suarez.
He's
jacked.
He did something to me where I had to move him out of the way, wrestle him a little bit, just joking around.
Yeah.
That guy he's cut from steel, that son of a bitch.
He has that lucha libre in him.
He has a little bit of that luchador shit. And you know who used to be my number one answer? BJ McLeod. I think BJ McLeod is probably an ass kicker. Has those fucking Astro Boys sideburns, wears those No Affliction T-shirts. I love BJ. Honestly, I see him at the races all the time. He invited us down. He opened up a fucking mountain coaster in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. If anyone's down there right outside of Gatlinburg, go to BJ McLeod's mountain coaster. The guy's a fucking stud. Sold his charter. Awesome. Made a nice little, couple of shekels off of that. So I guess I would take Austin Hill and Chris Buescher and John Hunter Nemechek. I think that'd be three. That'd be tough.
I think that's probably the big three. Is probably Buescher from the Cup Series, Hill from Xfinity, and then in trucks, give me Lane Riggs. He's another one. I feel like
is he one of those guys?
Yeah,
those are all three country boys.
He's a big tank.
Give me Tony Breidinger. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Catherine Legg.
Yeah,
why do you always pick the girls?
I don't know, because I'm a very healthy heterosexual male. I don't know. Let's talk about some headlines. Listen, we don't get into the lawsuit too much because we're not smart enough to understand it. But we did get
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
The injunction hearing is set for August 28th now. NASCAR won't sell charters until then. I know last week we were talking about how NASCAR shouldn't sell the charters, because if these guys get their charters back, then what do you do? But NASCAR's whole argument is they never signed the charter agreement, so it's not theirs. We can do whatever the fuck we want with them. But they're waiting until August 28th for that injunction hearing. And then Denny, who did color for Xfinity this past weekend, did in his Q&A saying that he's not going to comment on it, but in December, it'll all be clear once the trial starts. So we're sticking with that. We don't know what's going on with this lawsuit. I know that you're not going to comment on it, and I don't blame you. So it's just a wait and see thing, I think, for us, because the rest of the stuff is just guessing, and it does nothing real for us, to be honest. An update from last week's headline that Ram might start a reality show to find their new driver in the Cup Series. A bunch of people had sent in to me that this isn't the first time. One guy, Jacob in particular, had sent in that Roush Racing's Driver X, which had only one season back in 2005 on the Discovery Channel. I guess Roush used to do this thing called the Gong Show, where they would put these guys through all these different, background checks and social things and all that. And I believe that's how they had picked Kurt Busch and Carl Edwards at one point. And then they decided to say, you know what, let's put it on fucking TV. And there were a lot of real names in it, like Bubba Pollard, Redneck Jesus was in it, Justin Allgaier, and the guy who won it, it was two guys, Eric Darnell, who went on to win 5 truck races, and then David Reagan, who was on Daytona and Talladega. Do you remember those reality shows at all? And do you think it's kind of a good idea for Ram to do this just to sort of establish themselves as being back in the truck series and all that kind of stuff? How do you feel about a reality show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it brings a different perspective to the sport, right? I think any publicity is good publicity, especially when it comes to that. Do I remember that? I remember hearing about it. I was young. 3 years old, Marge.
Yeah. All right, fuck you. No, you're not. 28 years old, right? You son of a bitch. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the only thing that I'm hesitant is that with the way Love Island is, unless one of these truck guys are, fucking getting into a hot tub with a sexy broad, it's probably not going to do big numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Can't comment on that
I
either.
don't know.
It's official. No more Chicago. So Chicago, at least for the time being, I know they're talking about having a different date and bringing it back to Chicago because everyone has the warm fuzzies about the Chicago street race after this, 2 weeks ago. But we're going to fucking San Diego, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yep.
And if you guys check our socials, NASCAR socials, they did cut a promo for what they're doing in San Diego. I thought the promo was very good. Very funny, very all that kind of stuff. How excited are you to be out in San Diego racing another, road course that's going to be on the military base? How do you feel about it?
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I love that area. I think it'll be a really neat street course as well on the military base. I have a lot of friends, some family out there. So it's going to be a great venue to be able to go out to. I think being able to change location, as much as I love Chicago, right? I think being able to change location and going to new places and things of that, it helps our fan base. It helps new people tune in, bringing out new fans. And I know just from the Chicago experience that I've had, NASCAR will do a great job at being able to have a lot of amenities and things for the fans to be able to do. So I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be a blast. I haven't seen the racetrack layout yet, but I'm pretty pumped to see what that looks like. And I think from the fan perspective, when you go to a new place, you have to learn that place. Every driver has to learn that place. Like Bowman Gray this year, right? It put on one heck of a show. Mm-hmm. And I think being able to change that up and not having a notebook for these places that you go to, it's going to create better racing.
Right. Spider, any skepticism at all about San Diego?
No, I'm actually pumped. San Diego's always been like number one on my bucket list, and this seems like a great boondoggle opportunity to do it. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Dave, you're going to be paying for that one.
Yes, we're going to have a great time. But outside of, obviously, we just, like you said, Chicago now passed, and then we're moving toward San Diego. Is there anywhere else that you think deserves maybe like a purpose-made street course?
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys both the same question before I answer it. Is there somewhere that you would like to see on the schedule for a street race?
Yeah, and I'm probably kind of biased, and I'm going to say like the greater New York City area in some capacity. Now, I understand, obviously, like Fifth Ave, probably not going to happen.
Right.
But I'm sure there's somewhere in the Northeast that would be great. And I think coming, Large and I both from that neck of the woods, it's like that's a kind of, don't get me wrong, there are opportunities if you want to go to Watkins Glen or New Hampshire, or there's stuff going on in New England. But I think the city is an area of people that have written off the sport. And if you could captivate those people, I think that would be a massive, massive win. And that's kind of where our efforts lie. So I would say New York.
I would say right now that from an international perspective, I'm very much looking forward to if we can get up to Montreal.
Yep.
If that does happen, I think that's. And then from a domestic perspective, I go the exact opposite of Spider just because I'll have to put up with the traffic. And you can't throw a street fair in New York without locking up that city. I don't think New York is, and listen, I've spent a lot of time in Chicago, both in college and afterwards, and I spent my whole life in New York. I don't think New York could do what Chicago did with the street race. I don't think it's possible unless you do something that makes it less New Yorkish.
Right.
Like, hey, listen, I play for the New York Giants, but I've never fucking had to down a football in the state of New York. You know what I mean? Or the New York Jets. Like, that's what we do. We move everything out to Jersey. Or if they're like, no, we'll do Floyd Bennett in Brooklyn. Listen, that's a stone's throw from my mom and dad's house. I love it, but that's technically not New York.
Yeah.
New York is a little bit of a unicorn because it's, 50 miles of shit crammed into a 12-mile island, right? It's bursting at the fucking seams. So unless you want to close off Central Park, I know that I do not get in my car whenever there's the 5-borough bike race or the New York Marathon because the place gets snarled, and I don't feel like having NASCAR do that. So selfishly, I'd rather not have it in New York in as much as that goes.
Also, I feel like you might be able... It might work opposite, whereas people are like, fuck, what's this NASCAR race I know nothing about that's coming to my city and like ruining my commute? You know what I mean? But I also think you look at Chicago, people were initially skeptical, and then by this year, I think the city kind of came around on it. Yeah. People were 100%. Bought in.
100%. I think it wound up being a success,
right?
Except God hates NASCAR in Chicago, obviously, with the whole rain thing. But otherwise, I think, and again, that's giving Chicago their flowers. I don't think New York can do the same thing. To answer your question then on what city, I don't think I asked the question a lot. I never thought of an answer.
Yeah.
So I know they threw around Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I knew they threw around they threw around Cincinnati. right? There was a couple of names that they threw around.
Maryland,
but
I
have
think.
to say, I kind of dig the idea of doing it in Denver.
That would be cool.
I think
would be
that'd
really
be kind of cool to get it out in the mountains. You know, I don't know how much the elevation had affected you in Mexico City.
I was good.
Oh, it gave me explosive diarrhea, but I don't think it was also the ice cubes. So I don't know what's going to happen in the mountains of Denver, but I think that would be kind of a sexy place to do it.
Yeah.
And kind of a new fan base, like we're saying. You know? Like New York, you can go up to Watkins Glen. You can drive 3 hours to Dover.
Pocono.
I don't know what the fuck Denver does.
So my top two were New York and Denver.
Oh,
so
wow.
New York being like New York City, I think would be amazing to host a race.
Yeah.
Like, just forget everything large set. Like, take that out of the equation.
Right, I'm
being
negative.
downtown New York City and racing on the streets in New York City, I think would be really freaking cool.
That would be awesome.
I think Denver would be another great city to be able to go to and race. I mean, we don't have really anything around Denver anymore, right? So it's a new market for us. The city of Denver downtown is pretty neat as well. So I think that would be really neat. If you go international, cool. Toronto, Montreal, I think would be two places that would be really, really neat to be able to go to. I know IndyCar races in Toronto right now. But this is going to go back to the New York thing on logistics and everything else from your perspective. But I think Spider will agree with me. Let's go to Japan.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'd
for
be
a
worshipped
street
as a
race.
god there, to be quite honest with you. I would love for it to go off in Japan.
Why? Just because you're so tall?
I think so, yeah. And I've never been to Japan. I've never been to Asia at all, and it's one of those places that's kind of bucket listed for me, even from a cuisine standpoint. Also, I'm just fascinated with Japanese culture.
Same.
I do the Twisted History podcast, and I always do something on Japan.
That's
almost
cool.
every one of the things. So that would be a fascinating thing, and I know they've done it before, right? Like so many years ago. So perhaps they can get that. Send me to Japan. Don't come to New York. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'm definitely Team Japan as well. That would be my international destination for sure.
How do you feel about the Bristol thing? Are you pumped about Bristol hosting the baseball game? It's going to be August 2nd. It's the Cincinnati Reds versus the Atlanta Braves. They dropped the kits for both teams. What do you think about that? The Braves have the
flames on the brim.
Flames, yeah.
And then the Reds have the checkered flag ball cap. I actually love it. I mean, I think it's great.
Cool.
They also did their numbers. They didn't do the traditional jersey numbers. They did the numbers like they're in the cars.
That's cool.
I think it is kind of cool. It's the first time a baseball game, Major League Baseball game, will be played in a NASCAR track, and it's the first time a Major League Baseball game will be played in the state of Tennessee.
That's
I found
awesome.
to be almost like
that's wild,
unbelievable.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Chase has been a little bit at the forefront. Chase Elliott, because he's such a big Atlanta fan. But they dropped the kits this week. I'm not as big a fan as the Flames. I don't think it fits in on that.
No, I kind of like that.
Do you like that? I like the checkered flag. I think the Reds kit.
I'm Team Braves on this one.
You are? I think if I'm going to go just by the kid, I'm going Reds.
I'm excited. I think
Gentleman's bet?
Yeah. I'll take the Braves. Sure.
Shave our heads or whatever you want to do. We'll think about it.
You don't have a fire suit to offer me or anything. But no, I think this will be cool. I think it's good to see NASCAR kind of, I don't know if parlay is the word.
There's a partnership, though.
Yeah, partnership. Kind of take over a little bit of the MLB audience and host this game there. It's cool that historic for the fact that it'll be the first game in Tennessee. Neither of these teams are my teams. I'm more of a Yankees-Cubs kind of guy, so I'm like this doesn't really do anything for me, but I will be tuned in, and I'll be on the Braves, and we're going to win.
Okay. I'm all over the Reds. Do you want to talk about the beef of the week? It didn't seem like there was a huge beef on the track. Is there any kind of legs to Larry and Danielle Trotta versus Mark Martin, you think?
My takeaway from this was that just Mark Martin is universally loved in the sport. It seemed like, and I don't know if they were intentionally taking a shot at him, but they mentioned the fact that there was a driver who, what was his position?
So this is the deal. Larry McReynolds and Danielle Trotta, we haven't had either of them on the show, but
we have had Mark Martin, and he was one of our best guests.
He was fucking awesome. And then a clip from Spider talking to Mark Martin wound up being the lead-in to the latest, what was it? Meek Mill? No, it was
the Gucci Mane album.
So Spider's on a fucking Gucci Mane album.
Yep.
And that's fucking
sick.
Me and Mark
hot.
Martin featured on there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So Danielle and Larry are both proponents with the current playoff system, as opposed to going back to 36 race point system, the Chase. and Larry and Danielle were both speaking about how somebody who's on the committee who's trying to go back to the old thing. And I think Larry said something, did this somebody not win a championship? Which obviously Larry hasn't either, and certainly Danielle hasn't. But they just surmised that it's Mark Martin, and to Spider's point, he's like Snoop Dogg. Everybody fucking loves him, so they're ready to go to mattresses for him. This is outside of the conversation of whether or not the playoff system in place right now is the right one to have. What side of the fence do you fall on? I think that's a safe question to ask a driver. What side of the fence do you fall on? How would you like to see the playoff system? And by answering this question one way or the other, you're essentially saying, fuck you, Danielle Trotter, or fuck you, Mark Martin.
Thanks for that. Right?
You're welcome. Yeah,
so I'm going to play the middle ground here. Yeah. Well, I'd have 2 championships right now if it was the old point system. 2021 and 2023, a Truck Series Championship and an Xfinity Series Championship. So that's where I fall on that forefront. But, I mean, times change. Everything changes, right? Like, I do think that it's super interesting the way that the playoff format is now. You don't know who's going to make it, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jimmy locked up one of his championships with 4 races to go or 5 races to go because of the way that they were consistent all year. You know what I mean?
But that's an outlier.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen every year. You know what I mean?
It didn't happen every year, right? Sometimes it came down to a couple points, and other times it was a big blowout, right? But there's a difference in points racing and trying to like make your way to the end compared to the way it is now, where you win and you're in, or you win and you're advancing, right? So it's just a different perspective. I mean, it's the same end goal, right? You still want to win championships from a driver's perspective, and times are going to change. Like, I don't foresee this format being here forever, right? I do think that it will change somehow, some way, and who knows what that is. But in the end, like, as a driver, we have to play the hand that we're dealt, right? And you have to adapt to that situation, and you got to figure out the best way to make it to the Final Four with the way that it is now. Or if you go back and it's the old point system, like, you're going to change how you race on a weekly basis as well.
Yeah.
It goes back
That's why I say that Joey Logano is the best Cup Series driver. I don't think he's the most talented driver in the world. I don't see him as anything other than the fact that in this system, as it is, he wins more championships than everybody else. To me, winning championships is the ultimate. Joey Logano is the best.
Yep.
I'm sure if that changes, we go to a hybrid, or and maybe this thing will get to be less talked about once we move the championship to Miami and start moving it around, because I think there is a lot of Phoenix animosity, particularly with the teams that race better in Phoenix having like some sort of unfair advantage. But yeah, I think you're right. To some degree, things are always going to change as long as it doesn't get too gimmicky.
Yep.
That's the line NASCAR always kind of dances.
Yep. So I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Would you guys take 80 Cup wins over a Cup championship, or would you take a championship over 80 Cup wins? You can't have both. You can only have one or the other.
Yeah, so if I had a championship and nowhere near 80, right? I mean, obviously you have to win a couple of races to get there. So you're saying my career ends with 20 wins and a Cup championship, or 80 wins and none? Is that fair to say? I would do 20 wins and a championship. And I would say more so than probably getting the crown jewels. You're the opposite side.
I think you just take as many wins as you can get. Every time even one of these veterans wins, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, like you said earlier, they make it seem like
Mark Martin.
You don't take this for granted. This could be, and I still, Mark Martin's a great example. You can win a shit ton of Cup races and that be the extent of it, and still be universally loved and a massive success, Hall of Fame status, etc. So I think it's about, I would rather take the wins.
Now, do you feel that way outside? What's your answer?
I would rather have the wins.
You'd rather have the wins.
Yep. Even though you said earlier when you were speaking to Kyle Busch, the one thing you wanted to do was win championships.
I said wins and championships. Okay. I said both.
That's true.
So, but you could have both, but we can't. We had to pick.
No.
It is a little hypocritical. I couldn't get the word out, so I'm going to let it go. It was a little hypocritical there on John Hunter Nemechek. Wasn't
he
it
wanted
there,
wins
Spider?
and the championship.
He wants it all.
I did.
I
want it all.
You know what? We'll see you next week.
As a driver, we want it all, man.
No, I hear you. I just think it's one of those things that if I ask in another sport, would you rather be Tom Brady or Dan Marino? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to be
think it's different
Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley?
I know those aren't. Those aren't different.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying.
Sport,
like,
it's way different.
In team sports, okay.
Yeah,
that's the old thing.
Individual success. I think 80 wins in a career is massive.
It's huge, especially in this day and age.
Yeah,
right.
You did say fucking 80 wins. I don't think that's a healthy comp either. Like, you're putting me up on the list.
50 wins.
50 wins is easier for me.
I'd still take the 50 wins.
You would? Okay. I don't know. I don't know how that is, but underneath this fucking format, Joey owns it. That's how I feel. Until somebody else has, more than him under this format, then I think that he owns it. And perhaps if it wasn't this format, then he or Penske, I'm not just giving all the credit to Joe, they would then start hunting for wins in a point format.
Yeah. I mean, if this format wasn't here, Joey didn't win the championship last year. He finished 20-something in points.
Yeah, no, and I totally get it. But, he's got the huge fucking trophy.
Yeah,
he's the only one. He beat all your favorite drivers.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is.
No.
Let's talk about Indy. No, I'm telling you, I'm in the minority. 100% in the minority. People come at me all the fucking time. I'm in the minority. That's fine.
Is there anything that, I mean, obviously you grew up with racing as you outlined. Your dad drove Front Row Joe.
Front Row Joe. One
of the best nicknames in the sport. Is there anything that he had in his day that you don't have now in the current era of NASCAR that you're like, damn, I wish this was still a thing, or I wish we could do that, or race here, or, things were this way?
Ashtrays in the car.
900 horsepower.
Yeah, that would be it. That's pretty good one. I know our producer Jacob, his Uncle Mike's a big NASCAR fan, and I think we had some guest questions from Uncle Mike, so I wanted to give this opportunity to them.
Come on, Uncle Mike, throw them at me.
All right, Uncle Mike has always been the only person in my life growing up who's big on NASCAR. Uncle Mike is my NASCAR GOAT, and he's a fan of yours. You're in his stable.
Sweet.
Which is very selective. But I told him you were coming in, and he has some questions for you. So first, he asked, he said, I want a double-sided race flag. Why don't you have flags? Die-cast cars are for little kids. That's what Uncle Mike says.
Coming at you, Uncle Mike.
Dang, Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike, he's a tough love guy.
Gotcha.
Emphasis on the love. And then he said, ask, your dad's nickname while racing was Front Row Joe.
Yep.
Do you have a nickname? Let him know he needs more merchandise on the NASCAR Superstore.
Gotcha.
That's what Uncle Mike said.
Thanks, Uncle Mike. We are working on the merchandise side. Legacy and the whole team is working pretty hard on that. So there's definitely some more things coming, hopefully very soon. From the nickname perspective, no, I don't have one right now. I think when it kind of ships and sticks, then we'll make it happen. But I think Front Row Joe is probably one of the cooler nicknames for sure, even though I always told him that I would rather finish first or second than qualify first or second, just to mess around with him. But yeah, I mean, Front Row Joe is iconic, right? Like, it flows, it goes well.
It's the best NASCAR nickname?
Is it?
There's so many good ones.
Yeah, there is. What's your favorite, Spider?
I mean, I don't mean to be chalky. The Intimidator's an awesome one.
Don't take mine.
But even you go back, like, I think I have a whole list of them.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's a good one.
That's pretty good.
She was born for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I agree, like, you can get saddled with stupid nicknames like, I don't know, Large.
The King.
How
about,
Spider.
I mean,
yeah.
So you got to wait for the right one.
I think just non-nicknames, there's some great ones in the sport. I mean, you got Dick Trickle, Chocolate Myers, Fireball Roberts. Jack Wood is a funny one to me. He's a friend of ours, but that's just Lake Speed, Lawless Allen, and then you have all these babies: R.C. Dillon, Arrow, Allmendinger, and then on the Indy car we got Stingray Rubbin, Will Power, and then in the drag racing, John Force is just a badass name. But those are like kind of more given names.
Yeah,
I think Front Row Joe's definitely up there in terms of nicknames. I would go with the King, the Intimidator.
Yep.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. That's like probably the Mount Rushmore, and then Front Row Joe.
Yeah. Front Row Joe is definitely up there. So you have to wait for the right one to come along and then you'll work on the two-sided flag for Uncle Mike. Is that something you can promise?
I can't promise that, but we'll try and work.
Just
on
edit
that.
in that he promised it, and then we're gonna get some more merch.
If you do ever get a double-sided flag, I will promise you that Uncle Mike will wave it proudly.
Cool.
That's one sale right there.
There's one
There's
sale.
Locked up one sale.
We're only gonna make one of them.
Let's take a look at what's happening this weekend. The trucks are back. Truck Series hasn't run since June 28th at Lime Rock. That ends with the T-Sport 200 on Friday at 8 p.m. on FS1. Ross is the only Cup guy who's going to be running trucks this week. Xfinity on Saturday starts at 4:30 with the Pennzoil 250. You can catch it all on the CW. Kyle Larson and Catherine Legg are running Xfinity. Legg is also running Cup, making her the 21st driver to compete in both the Brickyard 400 and the Indianapolis 500. I'm not even sure why I put out that stat. It's not that fucking impressive. When you say the 21st driver, like Denny being the top 10 is kind of cool. And then Cup on Sunday with the Brickyard 400, 160 laps on Indy's 2.5-mile asphalt oval. Live coverage starts at 2 o'clock. It's going to be on TNT. The open teams entered are Josh Balicki, Jesse Love, Catherine Legg, and this is the first time I'm saying that. Also Noah Gragson, Bubba Wallace, Todd, Riley Herb, Zane Smith, and Tyler Reddick, because they're all in there as open teams, which is kind of weird to say. Reddick won the pole here in 24. Larson's the defending champ. Larson had grabbed the lead from Ryan Blaney in the overtime restart. That's the race last year where Brad Kay ran out of gas, in case you guys remember that. Kyle Busch is the only multiple winner in the field, having won back-to-back here in 2015 and 2016. The Grand Marshal is going to be Cookie Monster.
Let's go.
Which is kind of cool. The pace car driver prior to the start is going to be Pascal Siakam. It's kind of cool also. So 5 NASCAR Cup Series regular season races remain. 4 drivers are currently playoff eligible based on points, and 3 more are within striking distance. Plus, there's a new championship leader, Chase Elliott. So you can catch all the action on TV or feel the thrill in person. Secure your NASCAR seat today at NASCAR.com and feel the excitement. How do you feel going into Indy, and can you preview what we will be seeing in that race for us?
Yeah, I'm really excited going into Indy. Indy was one of our best races last year. We didn't get the finish that we wanted. We got involved in one of the late race wrecks towards the end, but we led laps. We were up front all day. That was our best qualifying effort for me last year. We qualified 10th, advanced to the final round, had a really solid weekend in Indy. So this is one that has been circled on my calendar all year to go to. Hopefully we have the same kind of energy and I guess the car balance that we had, the speed that we had last year, and hopefully maybe even a little more improved from all the adjustments that we've made over the last 8 months. But I'm really looking forward to getting there. As far as a preview, you're going to see a lot of guys kind of saving fuel, managing track position. You're going to see a lot of off-sequence pitting, in my opinion. You're going to see guys jump stages. You're going to see guys stay out at stages for stage points. The guys that are in the front at one point, maybe in the back. Larson was probably one of the only ones that really drove from the back to the front last year from their strategy. So there's a lot of things that can happen at Indy. You really never know what you're going to get, but you're going to see a mixed bag at the front for sure. It'll happen. It's just a matter of when and who's there at the end.
Spider, any of these paint schemes jump out at you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first of all, the Diet Cherry Coke one is sick.
I love that one.
That's got to be my favorite.
I love that fucking one. Diet Cherry Coke.
I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
That would probably be it for me. But then I think, yeah, there's some other good ones.
What about the 42? Talk to me about your. So it's PB Pi Barker.
Fire and safety.
Fire and safety.
Yep.
So it's a green and blue. It's a green and blue car for the most part, except for the 42 with the red and white 42.
So I'm surprised that you like it with the flames on it.
You know what? The flames in the back are a little more subtle. Honestly, because just coming off the back wheel well, I kind of like that. I think they look kind of goofy on the cap.
Yeah.
It's like most of we're talking about the Atlanta Braves cap. I don't mind the flames there, but I do like the dichotomy in the colors between the car and the thing.
So I think that this paint scheme turned out really sick. I think it's simple. I think it's unique. Adding in the flames from the Pi Barker logo, their PB there.
Yeah.
Kind of paying attention to that detail is big. An American company as well. So super excited about everything from that standpoint. We actually ran this close to this paint scheme a few weeks ago at Atlanta, and we had all of their employees' names on our car.
That's cool.
Well.
I love seeing that trip.
So that was really, really neat.
How much of a say do you have in these paint? We talk about paint schemes every now and again. One catches our eye, and I always wondered: is it just something that you see race day?
No.
Okay.
I see it beforehand.
But you do you get any kind of input?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. I've helped design some schemes. I don't get as much say-so now as I did at one point, but yeah, it's definitely unique in that sense.
Can you give us your most 3 iconic paint schemes in NASCAR history?
Ooh. That's tough.
What was our favorite? I love the M&Ms, right?
Rainbow Warrior,
Yeah.
the Earnhardt Black 3, Richard Petty, STP.
Skull Bandit.
Yeah, so Dale Earnhardt Black 3 definitely stands out. One of my dad's paint schemes, the 42 Bell South car, that one always stood out to me as a kid as well. I thought the U.S. Army car looked really sick as well.
Yeah. That is cool. I kind of dig the Viagra car.
Of course you do.
Thing. Yeah, of course I do. We're going to go into picking the tires before we By the way, we all hit last week.
Yeah.
Spider. That doesn't happen that often. I know you had Denny on the card. So did Quiggs. I also hit Briscoe on a top 5, and then I hit Kyle on a head-to-head. So we all hit last week. Don't get used to that because we're terrible at this. Nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game, all with DraftKings Sportsbook. As the season heats up, so do the bats, and DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with live betting, home run props, odds boosts, and more. Whether you're chasing dingers or jumping in mid-game, there's always action to be had. Never bet on baseball before? It's easy. Pick up a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use the code Rubbin. That's code Rubbin for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Will you be placing any responsible bets on the race this week, John Hunter?
No.
No? Spider, you're up. What do you got this week, my
Yeah,
man?
so I got 2 picks.
Thanks
One,
for sitting in on this, John. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Yeah.
and cover your ears for this one. I'm going Ty Dillon to win the in-season tournament over Ty Gibbs. I think the Cinderella story has been one I've been following, so I'd like to see him capitalize on that. And then for outright winners of the actual race, I like Kyle Larson. He's currently
Of course you
He's
do.
5-1. Listen, I've hit 2 weeks in a row. I gave you SVG. I gave you Denny this past week. So I'm going to try to just keep riding high. 2 picks, easy this week.
That's it for you? 2 picks?
Larson. Yeah, maybe I'll add a
That's
top
fucking
10.
first.
Maybe I'll add a top 10 in later. So make sure you guys are following. On Sunday, the cards will be posted. But for now, Larson and Ty Dillon.
I'm plus 360 for a top 10 finish for John Hunter Nemechek. I don't know if you know that guy, but I think he's due.
Who's
plus
that guy?
360. I got plus 350 Chris Buescher top Ford. Nobody loves the Fords, but I think he's only really got 1 or 2 drivers to beat, so I'll take Chris Buescher at plus 350. I took Tyler Reddick as the Group B winner. He's in Group B with Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, and Christopher Bell. And then I took a 3-pick parlay. Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, and Kyle Busch all to finish in the top 10, and that's at plus 270. I think that's a pretty good number. So 3-pick parlay, top 10 for Larson, Reddick, and Busch. I got my man John Hunter Nemechek, top 10 at plus 360. Tyler Reddick, Group B winner, and Chris Buescher, top 4 at plus 350. Listen, I don't think it's easy as a person whose job is to represent his team, his sponsors, everything, and just come in and speak to 2 idiots for an hour and a half. So I really appreciate you coming in and
there's
and doing this
only
with
one
us.
idiot. You're
Yes,
large.
Yeah, we're 1.5 idiots. But either way, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's the first time that we did it, and it was extremely easy and very, very comfortable. So we can't thank you enough, John, for coming in. Obviously, an open invite to come back at any time.
Cool.
And then I just want you to know that there are other people in this podcast. If you did decide to drop off some merch, I'm a 2XL.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for us. Rubbin is racing. You're going to be doing a pick six closer to the game.
Yep.
Make sure you tune into Spider's social media. He'll throw out a pick six. Thank you so much, Jacob, for putting all this stuff together. I hope Uncle Mike gets that his. I hope he gets his flag. Quiggs will be back next week with Moonhead. Yep. And that's it for us. Rubbin is racing. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Cool. Thank you.